There seems to be an awful lot of sad stories in the news today, and there are thousands missing. Does anybody care? New Band Channel, where we talk about those faces. Talking news with Debbie. Cassie Barnes has still not been found, and it's been 2 years since her case first hit the spotlight. Breaking. Chattanooga and Middle Valley both behind bars. Sarah Galloway was found. She wasn't found alive. What happened to Sarah Galloway?
It's too heartbreaking to share.
Children are still missing. Children like Dorsey. You're in shame. You just got away with it. Welcome to Talking News. Hello everyone. My name is Debbie. We use big stories to push little faces.
Hello everyone, welcome to Chasing a Murderer, Talking News. And today, guys, I just didn't have time to finish the video that I have pictures where we're kind of covering the Dillon rounds, and then I was going to add a few more cases that we could update on. I'm still working on that. I'm not able to get it out right now, so what I'm doing is I'm making a Talking News podcast only. And I'm going to throw in a few of our girls that continue to go on missing, a few of our guys, in between these very limited images, guys. But we have been talking about a new case that's come out at the end of May, and it's coming out of Lucin, Utah, and Montello, Nevada. Lucin, Utah kind of sits about 28 miles away from the Nevada borderline. The 19-year-old Dillon Rounds that disappeared in the middle of nowhere, literally. We are learning some new information, which, I mean, I kind of already knew this information, where FBI have been talking to neighbors that are only just a few miles away from Dillon. Makes sense. We're finding out that two of those people, one of them were a family friend, goes by, we'll call him DH. And then the other guy, we know his name. His name is James Brenner. We're finding out that James Brenner most likely was a squatter out there. Not only a squatter, he was a felon with guns. And in fact, he has been arrested a few times throughout his life for owning a gun while being a felon. A lot of people are still digging in the background. They might have found out something new, but I've not had time. I have a lot going on right now between health issues and we have like a mold problem in our air conditioner. We're being kicked out of our house for 5 days. That's going to be extremely expensive. It's going to take a lot of time. That's why I'm only able to do a podcast right now. And everything that you can think of that could go wrong, it's doing it, guys. And my channel is really taking a beating for the past year because of all that we've had going on. It's just one after another. That's part of life. We're going to get through it and we'll be okay. But let's start talking about this Dillon Rounds case. When this case surfaced, we had a lot of bad information coming out. Probably one of the worst stories I've ever covered, where you had to sift through so much bad information. A lot of it was actually coming from the parents even. And we know how news stories go. You're going to get some bad information, especially at the beginning, because you're trying to figure it out, especially if you're covering in time. Dillon Rounds, who was living alone out in the middle of nowhere, was trying to farm a land that it's basically not really farmable is what we're hearing. Very salty out there. It's by, the Salt Lakes. Many farmers have gone out there to try to farm this land, but have failed. We're also learning that Dillon Rounds is a custom farmer, meaning that he actually uses his own equipment, his own physical body to do work for other farmers. His parents are Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds. And Candace has been on every YouTube crime channel you can probably think of nearly. And then also, she is trying to hit every media source she could at the beginning of this, trying to raise awareness about her missing son, because she knew the day he went missing wasn't right. And if you don't know the details on this, hop back and listen to videos I've already uploaded, then come back here. So here you have what they say a 16-year-old boy quit school, wants to move out to the middle of nowhere, Lucin, Utah, in a salty, salty desert area to become a farmer. So a lot of people have questions about that. How are you going to be a successful farmer when you can't really grow anything out there? So, you know, he's working for other people in between, guys. So we're, according to a new video that just come out, which will be on another video that I'm making, we're going to cover it real quick here. We've heard his name before. His name is Kurt W. And there has been some rumors out there thrown about him. A lot of it coming from the PI, some of it coming from Dylan's parents. A lot of people have been kind of tough on these people in Montello. And it's because, you know, they're wanting to know what happened to Dylan, and they think these people might know something. Well, Kurt was actually talking to another YouTube channel, or a few of them, and he has given us a little bit of, well, an idea of who Dylan Rounds is. He told us that he worked with Dylan, would help him out on the farm, and that Dylan would come into Montello from Lucin and hang out, you know, with him and a few others, hang out the little cafes and bars there. He stayed in a motorhome. He said that a lot of times Dylan liked to eat pizza, and he denied all these rumors that he was a cross-dresser. I'm sorry to even mention that, because that is just something I never even cared about. But a lot of people were trying to figure out, you know, maybe somebody, you know, Dylan's not dating girls, maybe he's gay. So instead of following the breadcrumbs, they were throwing breadcrumbs and trying to create a trail. And let me tell you, it's easy to do, not judging them. It's very easy to do. But that's something I had to fight myself on when I heard this information. I was like, well, that is not something we can prove. I haven't heard, you know, from other people. I don't have any solid proof of all this, and it just seems like a bunch of rumors. Actually, as I started really starting to get an idea what happened with Dylan and what the true facts were, it just took me back to the fact that either someone come onto his farm looking for him with a plan to do something. And the fact of the matter is, it had to have been somebody that knew him, because they knew where all his stuff went. His truck was parked where it goes. His boots were thrown behind a hill. If it was somebody that was coming out to his property and they were planning on leaving, wouldn't you take a lot of this stuff with you and take it somewhere else? My point is, I just really feel like somebody, whoever is involved with this, was very familiar with Dylan and his property. Not to mention that Mom seemed to think that the truck had been moved by someone other than Dylan, and it had been pressure washed, and that there was just all these little red flags all over the place pointing to the fact that there was somebody there on his property, and it's not Dylan. We already learned that locals were talking about, if it were to rain out there, that a rainy day would be a perfect time to do something to someone and easily hide it. They are mentioning the fact that there is something they call the wash. So when it rains, there's a lot of water that comes running down certain areas, and it's carrying a lot of dirt, and you can place something there and it will be covered so quick and so deep in some places that it would be nearly impossible to find them. Now, another person that comes into play is a guy by the name of Chase V. I think in time we are going to find out a lot more about this guy. But for right now, we know that Dylan had actually ran into him walking either out of the desert or on the side of the highway, barefooted. Looked like he had been out there for days. And Dylan says that he called his mom, told her about it, and that he denied giving this guy a ride. We do find out later that Chase says that Dylan gave him a ride. And we found out through other people that Dylan gave Chase a ride. We also learned that Dylan overheard what Chase had to say while he was in the truck talking to his own father. And his father had mentioned the fact that they had been looking for Chase for several days, that they had his truck there and his children. What we're hearing is that Chase has got a history of going through and stealing stuff and selling it to people in smaller towns like Montello for a cheap price. Some of it never even being opened. At least that's what the locals claim. A lot of people are saying that there's a lot of meth labs out there, or meth people, so addicts. But according to locals, there's not a lot of meth out there. They do see people, meth addicts. People like Chase, they are saying are meth addicts. And that they have bought, some tools and things like that from Chase. One thing everyone agrees on that I have been able to listen to on interviews or, videos is a lot of people agree that this guy, Chase, is bad news. But remember, DH and a guy by the name of James Brenner, the squatter, living just not that far from Dylan's farm, has also been arrested, not connected to this missing case, but because he had firearms while being a felon. I saw on the news that DH let authorities know later that James Brenner had brought to his house a few guns. I have a few little bit deeper details in a video coming up on that, but not so much on this one. So I wanted to say that I was very happy to hear that DH had actually contacted authorities and at least tried to do the right thing to help find answers for this missing child. Well, it's not a child. Sorry, guys. I think of him as a child. He's 19. But the thing that really sticks in my mind, and I've said this before, is this Chase guy. The fact that he was so desperate to get a hold of Candace and tell her, look, it wasn't me. If this is the exact words that he used, then he knows something. And hopefully, if he isn't a person police should be watching, then maybe he can tell authorities who. But it doesn't seem like this guy is all that great of a guy. I hope, we are wrong on that one. But at least a few people like DH are starting to come forward. And I want to remind people that you can also, if you're from the area and watch this, you can anonymously give information. I know it's hard when you have possession of guns and stuff to do that. But if you just know something, you can always write something on just a notebook. Hand it to someone you know and have them give it to authorities. Because there's someone out there, their heart knows that they want to tell what happened. But they don't want to be known as a tattletale or something like that, or even endanger their own lives. But let me tell you guys, there is nothing worse than holding something that dark and never doing something to help make it right. That's the worst thing that anyone could ever do. A lot of people are very concerned about the community out there. I mean, you got to remember, these are people that grew up in the middle of nowhere. They depend on each other. They all know each other through rumors, or at least seeing each other by going to the gas station. In fact, on 4th of July, Memorial Days, they have small little town parades. So basically, the parade is going to consist of every single person, at least somebody in their family, being part of that parade. Then they get together and have these little barbecues and, grill out and enjoy the day. They do all these little fun vintage type games like potato sack racing, bingo, horseshoes. They play music and sit and enjoy the day. Many people are painting them out to be like people from The Hills Have Eyes. Like any community, you're going to have your town drunk. You're going to have this or that. Most of them are just country people who are just trying to live their lives, not bothering anyone. And now they're having to deal with these new people moving out to the area and figure out, are these good people? Are they bad people? It used to be that, strangers or new people, they come every once in a great blue moon. But now they're starting to see, all these, we have the internet now, so you're finding about places you never heard about, and people are venturing out. You also have people who are trying to hide because they're not good people. They have really some dark things going on, and they're finding the perfect place to hide out. And to be honest with you, if I were one of them people, I would consider Lucin and Montello a perfect place for me to do that. What we know is that Dylan Rounds was just 16 when he quit school, and he made this adult decision that he wanted to be a farmer for his entire life. And for some reason, his parents felt that he was ready to do that. And so they supported him on that. They say that Dylan was out there for 3 years, but new information coming out and witnesses say that Dylan didn't exactly stay out there very often, especially the first 2 years. And that the 3rd year, in fact, he still wasn't staying out there constantly, but he was finally building and putting equity into this property. So it was becoming alive. He had a pond. He got his seed growing. For the first time, he was thinking that he was going to be able to prove the world wrong about growing crops on this salty desert. Now guys, I'm having to do this on the go, switching environments on you, no mic. And I'm going to try to go ahead and finish this here. So what do you guys think happened? Share it in the comments below. If I can get a chance and things slow down, I'm going to be able to actually start doing lives, I hope. Right now, a lot of Florida residents are having problems with builders and their construction, especially with air conditioner units, and we're dealing with it. My daughter's dealing with it, where you have mold growing in there. So we've been kicked out of the house. I'll be out for about 5 days. And thank God I had Sue Haley over at Inova helping me get through this, because it has been very stressful. We've had cars breaking down, doorknobs. It's just been one thing after another. And so I'm dealing with a sinus infection right now on antibiotics that's making me burn. Trying to switch that because I love to be outside. So I'm staying with my daughter for a little bit. So that's why I'm only able to do a podcast right here with no much video going on. So guys, I want to reach out to all of you and say that I do miss you guys so much. And I am working still on the Lori Vallow case. It just isn't out right now. I'm actually putting together the next video. That takes me a long time to do each one of those. It's been awful quiet. It's probably been the quietest that it's ever been in this case, and people are wondering what the heck is going on with that. There has to be something. It can't be quiet. Lori needs to pull a hat out of her something so that she can pull out a rabbit, because we all know that she's behind bars, and that's the only place she's going to be able to pull anything out. A lot of people are hoping that she has been in this crazy brainwash and will snap out of it at any moment and be regretful for everything that she has done. Share that too in the comments, guys. What do you think is going on with Lori right now? How do you think she feels? And what do you expect from her? I'll try to finish this Dylan Rounds video that I've been working on anyways and try to get that up. But as of right now, they do have James Brenner. He was arrested for guns, which is not attached to him being missing, but maybe he will talk a little bit. It sounds like Don is trying to help out more than he has. Good for you, Don. Please keep helping. It sounds like Kurt W. is also trying his best to figure out what's going on, and seems that Dylan had a lot of people that cared about him out there. A lot of people have their own ideas of who these people are, and share that below if you like, because we all have different ideas of what's going on with this case, and that's okay. And, you know, it's great to share what we each think. As long as we focus on the main facts, that's the most important to finding Dylan. And we do know that the FBI has found a few things. They know something more, guys. And so, sadly, I feel, and this is my opinion, speculation completely, that, you know, it's not going to be good. And I've been so crazy busy trying to cover this story, I haven't even been able to soak it in. And now that I do, I just feel so bad for this family, for everything they've tried so hard to find answers. And they're trying very hard to focus on the facts. It's not, you know, at times they feel like they are denial in some things, but there's things they know that we don't. And you got to remember, if police and the parents are on the same page, they know something more than we do. I want to give a shout out to the people who are running the Dylan Rounds Facebook page and other Facebook pages that they help, you know, several families that have missing loved ones. They volunteer their time. Go check it out, guys. I don't have time. I can't remember the name of them, but I'm going to try to do a proper shout out on the next video. So Jazz is one of the girls that I've had the pleasure to talk to. She's been amazing. So much love to the family of Dylan Rounds. We all hope that you find the answers you deserve, and we are certain that you will at least get some justice. And it won't ever be 100% enough, but at least you'll have something. And guys, I want to ask you, if you do watch this channel, and I'm gonna quit asking, but for right now, it says on my analytics that a lot of people that are watching don't subscribe. And if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. But if you do enjoy the videos, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and just say hello in the comments. Don't forget to share one of our missing people stories like Jasmine Robinson. Love you guys. See you guys soon.